below. $5. You get it yourself. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's gonna make me miss my shout. Let's go! That was a good day today. It was a good day today. Oh, trust me. I've got good news. I've got funny news. I'll give you a hint who it's about. My nose? Often imitated, never duplicated. That bull with no head that shouts like Ric Flair. Woo! What? Woo! The R8RBEAR! Raiders! Oh, that's what it's all about, baby. Especially today. Raider Bear. Mama Raider. Raider Bear. Next! All right, what's up, fam? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you all tuning in for R8RBEAR Live. Now, just real quick, we're going to cover a couple of different things today. We signed 5 of our free agents. We've also, let's see what else. Subject 1, we signed 5 of our free agents. Subject 2, DK Metcalf. Is that a good fit for us? I'm going to give you an opinion that might surprise you. And look! I still got Deuce, or my little dog. I said Deuce. Deuce has been gone for 2 years. Still miss my pit bull. You know how it is when pit bulls die. You never really get over it. You know what I mean? Because people fall in love with their pit bulls. It's not a normal pet. You know what I mean? You fall in love with pit bulls. You know what I mean? At least I know I did. But anyway, I was just trying to speak of my dog Poe, my little Frenchie. He gets his hair everywhere, man, and it just doesn't matter what I have. It's got him in it. All right, Travis! R8RBEAR Live! First comment, woo! MVP tonight goes to the 2-belt champion who does whatever he wishes. Mark Vargas! Mr. Emoji himself. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I'm sad you moved, man. That sucks. I mean, if I'd have known you were moving, I swear I would have just put you on my show right then and there. I love having Raider fans on my show. You know what I mean? It gives people a different perspective. Obviously, people like my perspective because I find stuff and I get scoops and stuff like that. And you guys know oftentimes I'm right about certain things, and I have another one for you tonight I'm going to be right about. So I promise you it's coming, and I'm just gonna spring it on you, but we'll see in a moment. Second place silver medal. I actually really like doing this one. John the Lion Leon! Always catching L's, but never taking losses. Our guy, John the Lion Leon, who, really likes Carter Bradley. And he's still on the roster. I thought that was pretty cool. Third place, my bronze medal goes to Ramiro! Woo! Castro! I'm never letting it go. Only a handful of people know what that means. But I know that my guy, Ramiro, knows what I'm talking about. Okay? What's up, brother? Much love. Always there for Raider Bear. You always are there for Raider Bear. And speaking of those that are always there for Raider Bear, my good friend gets honorable mention. James and Princetta Walker. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always miss you guys. We got to meet them one time at a Raider game, and just awesome people. Troy Gill, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. All right, Facebook. First place, numero uno el jefe tonight. Lucky Pace. That sultry sounding son of a gun. I met him in person in Texas. Good dude. And these gold medals now might start becoming kind of regular for you. I've had a couple of viewers get mad at me and come out of my list. So, yeah. Second place silver medal, Carlos Boykins. Oh, that's my longest one yet. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for Raider Bear. And in third place, and you guys know I love it when a Raiderette interrupts the sausage fest that is my medal round because there's far too many dudes. Well, Karina True. Hello. You guys are in trouble tonight. You're all at the mercy of my mood, and it is excellent. I'm in an excellent mood. Just got a lot of stuff done today. Raiders got some stuff done today I thought was great. So we'll go into that in just a second. Jim Garrison, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Honorable mention. And Jeremy King, how you doing, man? Welcome. Good to see you. Bob Standard, my good friend in the house. What's up, Bob? Bear! That one's starting to get lost because that other guy used to do that like a lot. I don't think he's watching my show anymore. Chris Strong, what's up? Welcome to the show. Carlos Magana, Bear. Chris Strong, Bear. No to the DK Metcalf trade. They want too much. John, everyone always wants too much when you've got a guy, that looks like a premier wide receiver, top 5 guy at the minimum. And I don't think it's worth it, which is what I think you're saying. We agree. It's not worth it. Now, I want to say something real... John the Leon got my Joey Noza reference. Correct, sir. But no, John, I think the DK Metcalf thing is... I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like, for example, John, I don't know what your feeling is about it, but I'll throw this at you, and you can tell me right or wrong, Bear. I agree with you, that kind of thing. I think that DK Metcalf is a little bit more flash and not enough substance. In other words, he doesn't catch those in-between routes. He doesn't run crossing routes. He is considered a one and go. You know what I mean? He gives you a start, he stops and starts again, or he gives you a run, stop, and starts again, but goes in an opposite direction, maybe a post at an angle, that kind of thing, or toward the out of bounds. But his route tree is very, very limited. From what I saw coming out of college and at the combine, his route tree is very limited. Now, what does it mean when I say that? It means that the amount of routes he has on a tree is like another branch, okay? He does not have them. He has 2 or 3 tops. You want your better wide receivers, especially when you're paying a ton of money for, to be able to be a 5-tool wide receiver. That means crossing and short routes, bubble screens, deep routes, post routes, and then simple go route, where you just, as soon as the ball's snapped, you just take off, go by the DB and get as deep as you can. Here comes the ball. Maybe, because some quarterbacks, they won't throw the big ball because they don't want to mess with their completion percentages. And then when it's time to, get a new contract, they can't say, hey, well, I threw for, 82%. If you keep throwing those bombs, you come down in the 60s, and now they can argue they should pay you less money. So, not completely bald, brother. In fact, my hair's a little long for me for what it normally is. I have a little bit of shadow right now. I normally keep it like real short. Joey Rivera, what's up, Bear? Do you think Aaron Rodgers is coming to Las Vegas? We can sign him for cheap and still have room for more free agents. Let's win. Okay, I want to say first, Joey, I'm a very, very anti-Aaron Rodgers fan, analyst. so to speak. And I have said many, many times, I want nothing to do with that guy. But I do not ignore the Raider way. I don't want Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. I don't need Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. We can get other people. There's a lot of quarterbacks out there. I just don't understand why it has to be that guy when you can't trust that guy. You know what I mean? He's gotten injured his last 2 seasons, one that ended his entire season and another one that kept him out for a few games. He's never broken down like this much, and I think it's because he's just finally older. You know what I mean? I don't know how many of you will understand what I'm saying. Some of you will, some of you won't. But do you remember that time, because almost everyone has experienced this at least once, do you remember that time you were driving a car? Okay, and you really liked that car, and then you had it for 2 or 3 years, and then just suddenly it just pow, and it just the transmission blows, and tire pops, and it just goes all wrong. Okay, you need a new axle, and it's just crazy. That's what older players do. They don't become old graciously when they're quarterbacks. If it's a quarterback and he's getting too old, that means he's reading defenses slower. He's also, his physical body is moving slower. Those two things are not conducive to football. You can drag it for a while like LeBron is in basketball or golf, things like that, but not the NFL. Because the NFL every single year sharpens that edge harder and harder and sharper and sharper. And I don't know what's going to happen in 10 years, but they're going to have to start changing rules and things like that, because sooner or later you're going to have these guys like just bar bouncers, all of them, and everyone knocking the living hell out of each other. And the way they changed the rules of the quarterback where you can't knock them around, I mean, that looked like that was inevitable. I've had so many fans come on my show and say, oh, well, Bear, I hate that they let the quarterback wear a dress now. And, guys, come on. We've heard that said so many times over the decades about different quarterbacks. He's wearing a dress because they think he's scared. You know what I mean? Those days are gone. You know what I mean? Quarterbacks are too expensive to just let them get hurt. You know what I mean? I realize you want defensive ends to go after quarterbacks, and defensive ends, are supposed to sack quarterbacks. But the truth is, I agree with the rule. I really do. I agree with the rule changes toward the quarterback. I really do. I want Max to get sacks, but I don't want him throwing quarterbacks into the ground like they used to. I just don't. It's not good for football itself. If we beat the Chiefs, I want to beat them with Patrick Mahomes, okay? If we're in the first quarter and Max picks him up and drills him into his shoulder on the ground and breaks his collarbone like we saw players literally doing to quarterbacks. They would tie them up like that with their arms so they couldn't move their arms, and then drive the point of their shoulder into the grass, and it would immediately break their collar, which, by the way, happened to Aaron Rodgers. Look it up. If you look up the Aaron Rodgers collar broken on YouTube, you'll see how the player tied his arms up and then drove his shoulder into the ground. So he's beating up goods at this point. And I feel like, didn't we all just watch him go to the Jets and steal 2 years of money? Didn't we all just see that? I mean, what did he do for the Jets? He barely threw the ball around. And he got whoever knows how much money. I don't look up on Aaron Rodgers. But he just wants another situation like that. Do we want to go now for 2 years? Give him a 3-year deal with a 3rd-year option, so it's really a 2-year deal, and for the next 2 years, he sucks as a Raider? No thanks. No thanks. I would rather gamble on a veteran free agent that's younger or a quarterback right out of school. Look what the Atlanta Falcons did. The Atlanta Falcons did it right. Now, they did Kirk Cousins wrong, because they acted like they wanted him to be here, to be a cornerstone of the franchise. We want you to help us raise this puppy quarterback. And then like 5 weeks in, they said, Kurt, we need you to sit down. We're going to put in the kid. I mean, they should just do the same thing here. Go ahead and find your young man, whoever it may be. It sounds like we're going to have a shot at Shedeur, because they're saying all these scouts are hearing from teams that they're all, marking him down, that they feel like the difference between him and Cam Ward, it's not this neck and neck thing, it's Cam Ward and Shedeur's way down here to them. They feel like Cam might be the only real potential to be a starter long term for anyone. Yeah, I saw that, Mark. I hope you're enjoying it out there, though. I know people who really like Oregon. Eric Bell, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Eric, I'm right a lot. I'm not always right, but I got love for you for that. Okay, so about the thing with the wide receiver. I don't think the DK Metcalf move would be wise, but I want to say this though. Even if you're like John the Lion, and you and you don't want DK Metcalf, if we should get him, I think that we should address that, okay? So if we as the Raiders get him, and I feel like that's a high likelihood, okay? If DK Metcalf is a businessman like myself, see, I'm looking at where I'm going. I'm looking at what's going to happen when I arrive there, and I'm looking at my potential for success, okay? So the Seattle Seahawks have had the guy. I personally think DK Metcalf is a 1 or 2 route wide receiver at best, and if you pay him, compensant to that, then fine. But if you want to give him a super gigantic contract, he doesn't deserve that. I mean, his skill set doesn't warrant that. So, what is the only way he could possibly get a team to warrant giving him full money is if he follows his old coach, who might think he deserves it, who might, step up for him and defend him. And we all know how Pete Carroll loves players. You know what I mean? Pete Carroll might step out of the dark and say, you know what? He'd help us win. I know that guy. I know how to unlock that guy. I know the plays that DK Metcalf can dominate, and we can get him open, get him the ball, and get touchdowns. Now, see, I can understand that argument. So if he comes over, I hope that's what Pete Carroll tells us. That I know this guy, I love this kid, and we're going to get touchdowns out of this guy. If he says that, then, he's kind of putting his reputation out there. Whereas if he doesn't believe that, he'll just say, okay, good, we got Metcalf, and that's it. You know what I mean? Little rah-rah because he got him back from his old Seattle team. But I think that there's a way that this can end well, and that's if he signs with us and Pete Carroll knows, his deficiencies and only exposes his assets. Only put him in when he's going to go deep routes. Only put him as a part of deep routes or a fake slant. In other words, he can run the slant, but he runs it so crappy and slow, and he has terrible footwork. But if he's just meant to seem like a decoy, you can still have him do it. Even if he doesn't do it well, he's still going to draw the DB to him. You know what I mean? When I say he doesn't do it well, I mean it doesn't honor throwing to him. So it's like you've lost one position on a throwing play if he goes inside or tries to run bubble or anything like that. You know what I mean? I don't like it. Eric Bill, I wouldn't say he's not coming unless he's already signed somewhere, only because I think the Raiders are going to start getting a little bit desperate soon because they wanted a coach in Ben Johnson. They didn't get him. Then they wanted a certain player, and they didn't get him. And then the big dude, defensive end from the Browns, I believe he went back to the Browns. And so, we're starting to see people coming off the list. Matthew Stafford, we showed interest. We didn't get him. You know what I mean? And let's be honest. If Tom Brady went to have lunch with him and talk to him and wine and dine him, which we know happened, and he still didn't come to us, is this whole Tom Brady thing a lot of smoke and mirrors? I mean, yeah, is he an owner? Yes. But can he really benefit our franchise in any way? I would argue no. I've never felt like he would. I've had so many fans of the Raiders come on and say, hey, he's a professional. He knows this. He knows that. It's going to be good for us. He's only ever been a player, guys. That's all I ever try to say to them. He's only ever been a player. If I tell you I'm going to be the new executive of the Jets and I'm going to go out with player personnel and bring guys in with my clout, the only clout I have is I've won Super Bowl rings, and everyone thinks that most of them were gotten through cheating. You see what I'm saying? So he doesn't really have the respect of the players. Not really. He doesn't have the respect of the owners. Not really. I would argue he's probably got a little bit of venom from those guys. Plain and simply because they know at one point or another he shafted guys and franchises out of their rightful Super Bowls. So I don't like it. Mark Vargas said Aaron is coming to the Bears. R8RBEAR. Jeremy McCrary, I'm feeling good. I hope you're talking to me. Good to see you. Starting guard isn't too exciting, but we needed some help. Well, yeah, we needed some help at offensive lineman, Eric Bell, and this is someone that already knows what we're doing, you know what I mean? And we're only paying, if I'm not mistaken, it was $980,000. or just under $1 million, if I'm not mistaken, for 1 year, just to see what he could do again. And then if he's good, they'll probably negotiate another 2-year deal, 1-year deal, whatever. Ah, nice, Dustin King, driving and listening to my show. Appreciate you, brother. Welcome as always. And then Mark, as far as the Aaron thing, I'm just being clear. I don't want it. I'm putting foots in it. Once I'm off the air, I'm putting foots in it. I'll show I'm mad about it, but I can't do it for my show because I have to see the other side of it. I have to be fair. I don't want Aaron Rodgers. I don't like this move at all. If they do it, it's a mistake, period. But once he's here, I'm all in. Once he's a Raider, I'm always a Raider. So once he's here, I'm all in. Now, what does it mean if when we had Josh McDaniels as a coach, I wasn't all in? Because I knew that he was a cancer and an idiot. Okay? And so I can say, no, I don't care if he signed a deal. I don't care if he's our coach. He ain't a Raider. You know what I mean? Kelechi Osemele. How many of you remember him, the offensive lineman? We had him for years. He was great. He did a lot for us, but then we decided we weren't going to give him another deal. He goes to the Chiefs and immediately starts talking shit to, excuse my French, I'm mad now, but he starts talking all this junk on TV shows, radio stations. He literally spent like 2 days going all these different radio shows and podcasts just to complain about the Raiders organization, the fans, his teammates. He just roasted us. You know what I mean? It made no sense. No one ever treated KO badly. As fans, we always loved the guy. You know, he was injury prone, but when he played, he was good. And then he just throws us all under the bus, like everything Raiders under the bus. The fans, the organization, the coaches, the players, everything. You know what I mean? That guy wasn't a Raider. I don't care how long he was here. I don't care how well he played. That guy is not a Raider. All right, so moving on to Max Crosby. Yes, he did get his extension, and he got pretty much what he deserved. You know what I mean? He's a great player. We all know that. But $111 million at defensive end, I think it's the highest or the second highest the defensive end's ever gotten. It's the highest contract outside of quarterbacks. But among defensive ends, it's the highest, if not close to the highest ever. He got $111 million, I want to say, or 110. I'm not sure. And that's only for a couple years. I think that's for 2 years. So he's basically getting $50 million a season, which is incredible. Oh, right on, Bob. Happy birthday then, and I'll say it then too. Happy birthday now, and I'll say it then too. Carlos Megana's got me laughing. Bear, I'm from Boston. You can trust me. Bob Standard, the reason the Jacoby Brissett thing is coming up is because he has familiarity with Chip Kelly and Chip Kelly's system. I don't know how. I don't know if it was way back when he was in school or when Chip Kelly was here. Did he, fiddle with the Patriots? I'm not sure. I'll be honest with you. I in the interest of full honesty and disclosure, I'm a show host. I'm supposed to know most of these things. But that one, background on whether or not he had a familiarity with Chip Kelly, I actually read that, but I don't know. I can't back it up with facts. So that's why Jacoby Brissett is being considered. Because even though he's a limited backup quarterback that hasn't really done much, you know what I mean? But he was a good backup for the Patriots. Then he went to the Indianapolis Colts. Now, you're not going to hear this from anyone else, but the year that guy Luck, that used to be the legendary quarterback for the Colts that replaced Peyton Manning. Okay, that guy, when he suddenly retired, he did it like leading into a season. So that he completely left the team blindsided. It was a pretty jerk move. It never got talked about because they all felt like he was a good guy and that he was trying to get out with the money he made and not getting CTE. And so I was like, okay, that's cool. But long story short, they basically looked at Jacoby Brissett and said, we don't have time to do anything else, brother, so you're the starter. And he started the season 5-0. So he's nice. He walked right onto the field and won 5 straight games, which blew everyone away. You know what I mean? And Jacoby Brissett, in my opinion, is much better than Jimmy Garoppolo ever was. And they had Jimmy Garoppolo ahead of him on the depth chart with the Patriots. I always used to talk about how that was wrong, that if it had been Jacoby Brissett that went to the Niners instead of Garoppolo, they'd still have Jacoby Brissett. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, they would have made that offense work. He would have been more disciplined. He's got a bigger arm. And Jacoby Brissett has a huge arm, just so everybody knows. He can really throw the ball. But I want to make it clear, Bob, I don't want that. I'm not a Jacoby fan. I've heard that for whatever reason, I've been on Sam Darnold, okay? I've been on Sam Darnold. I saw what he did, okay? I'm sorry, but I'm not talking about college. I'm not talking about free agency from years ago. I'm talking about just last season with the Vikings. He took that team from beginning of the season to, 11 wins, I think it was, before they lost? That's not a coincidence. No matter what any scout or any analyst says these next few days about Sam Darnold, don't listen to him. Sam Darnold has come into his own. He's one of those guys that's a high draft pick, and he turned out to be a bust because he didn't come to fruition immediately. Whereas in the past, whenever you brought a guy in from the draft, that guy usually sat for a year or two, much like Aaron Rodgers did behind Brett Favre. Do you see what I'm saying? And then that made him that much more prepared. Now what they do is they bring in a guy, they make him wait 3 weeks, and then suddenly they make an excuse to get rid of the veteran quarterback and put the kid in. Kirk Cousins. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I would rather see us just try to make find another solid backup. The Gardner Minshew idea was a solid one. It really was. Gardner Minshew, everywhere he'd been before us, he played well. Everybody, look it up. He had comeback games where they were losing real bad, and he would get them back into it with his arm and his legs. No running game. He was good for the Colts. The Colts had nothing but good things to say about him. People in the locker room talked about how he was a leader. They didn't want to lose him. You know what I mean? It just didn't work well for us. Brian Paul, what's up, brother? The town, Dubs in the house. What's up, brother? Hey, they're playing right now. You got to update me. What's the score? Let's see. Rod, AR can be like Peyton with the Broncos. Stem cells, Bear. Science is Gouda. Okay, right on. I don't see that as a question. I don't know. I felt like you were just, straightening me out. Appreciate it, though. Sick hat, I own one myself. Right on, S.A. Big Dog. What you doing, brother? Alfred Oliva, R8RBEAR, glad to be here watching your show. Right on, Alfred. I appreciate that, brother. Good to see you. Rick Conde Jr., Raider fans set on mobile quarterback. They settle for bums. Darnold's Fields, Zach Wilson, all have been on multiple teams or overpay for Stafford, Rodgers, or Russell. Stick with AOC. We have so many needs. Build, then go all into a quarterback. AOC only going into third year. Well, Rick Conde Jr., welcome to the show. That's an incredible profile picture. I don't know if that's your wife or your daughter, but you guys look great. I love AOC. I predicted our picking him. I don't know if you know that. I actually said, if we get that guy, and the scouts are saying this, that, and the other, we need to get that guy, and then we got that guy. And so far, a lot of Raider Nation isn't pleased with how he's played, but I would argue, has he not been as sabotaged as a guy can get sabotaged? I mean, he went through multiple coaches. He went through a coach that was an idiot and put him in and then immediately pulled him out because he threw 2 picks and fumbled 2 balls. Well, I mean, what did you expect him to do? You know what I mean? You put him into an offense that's algebra, and he was only ready for math. You know what I mean? He's a kid. Bear, I'd rather have Rodgers over 1 year wonder Donald. After all, he's nothing more than a bridge QB. Well, Carlos, as always, welcome to the show, but I would say this to you, brother. He is not a 1 year wonder. He did it for the Niners, too, and the Niners were really pressed. They wanted to keep him. They did not want that to happen. And then he went from that winning to the Vikings. And before that, his time with the Panthers wasn't bad. You know what I mean? It really wasn't. He was decent for the Panthers. They just wouldn't look at him as a franchise guy, no matter how well he played. They just be like, you are a sitting piece until we get someone in the draft or free agency and start a new dynasty. So he's like, well, okay, I don't want to be here for that. So he goes to the Niners Panthers to the Niners. Niners, he did well, won some games, and then he goes over to the Vikings and goes like 11-0. Now, I don't care what kind of Raider fan or fan of another team you are. I'm telling you, if you know anyone that understands football, they'll tell you what I'm about to say to you, okay? Quarterbacks don't go 11-0. They don't. Not in the NFL. And they have tape on top of tape on top of tape for defenses to study about Sam Darnold, and what good did it do them? Nothing. He went on a torrential win streak, mowing down teams. Most of the games weren't close. You see what I'm saying? Now, I expect that from a young guy, because a young guy comes in the league doesn't have tape, so it's hard for them to understand how fast he is or what he likes to do on third down. What are his cadences? Does he pump twice like that before he throws? Does he pat the ball 2 times or 3 times like Garoppolo, who is obviously like a poker tell, like a pitcher that doesn't know how to hide what he's calling? He was selling, to the defense what he was doing. So now you get through that rookie season, suddenly that guy comes back and he's Dak Prescott, RG3. And a slew of others, that they're good for one season because the league doesn't have tape on them. But the moment they have tape, they're useless. And here's Sam Darnold now, 7-8 years in the league, something like that, and they can't stop him just because he goes to the Vikings? I'm just saying, man, you can go off what you've seen him do in the past. He was a bum. I agree. Sam Darnold was a bust and a bum for the team that brought him in and the following team, and then he started to grow a little bit with the Panthers, started to play better, and then they went Niners, he went to the Vikings, and played well at all 3 stops. I just think he's come to fruition. I think he's one of those guys that was afraid at first when he got out there. Defensive linemen would get close and he would fold up too fast or look away from the route, so now he can't throw the ball because he doesn't know where the guy is. He has to reacquire him, and you don't have that kind of time against defensive linemen in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? So the truth is, couldn't the guy have just gotten banged around enough? He's got enough, he's got enough hours in the ring, so to speak, that he's a boxer now. He might have just been a trainer, but now he wants to see what he can do against guys with belts because he's been doing this a while, and he thinks he's smart. He might be a little bit older than a guy should be to start a career trying to beat boxers and become the middleweight champion or whatever weight you're going into, but sometimes guys like this develop late. And that's what I see on Sam Darnold. And I'm asking you to go back, go to any one of the Vikings games and just watch him for just a couple minutes. And you'll see what I'm talking about. He moves differently because he's not scared anymore. He moves differently because he's understood that, hey, you know what? I can do this. You know what I mean? I have confidence in myself, but not just trying to have confidence in myself. I've seen it. I can whoop this league. And he did. There's a reason why 99% of your quarterbacks will never go 11-0 because it's too freaking hard. And then we just watched him do it. And trust me, I feel like I watched a mermaid do a backflip. I mean, I thought I knew what Sam Darnold was, but he's not. He grew. He's grown, guys. I'm telling you, he's grown. I don't know where he's going to go, but he's going to prove me right. You watch. Just remember the Sam Darnold move. Whether he ends up with us or not, just follow him and watch what happens. He's going to go somewhere and he's going to win again. Whoops. Rick Condi Jr. I already read that one. So we are trading Mayer. Go for Lockett or Goodwin. Eric Bell, they have been putting Mayer in a lot of conversations for trades, so I'm just going to go with, I think it's definitely going to happen. I don't think it would be fair to him as a player or professional to him as a player to just throw his name out there the way we did. So I think something's going on. And I know most of you remember he missed a significant amount of football for some reason that they didn't disclose. All they said was non-injury time granted by the team, so to speak. Whatever it was, I think maybe the team just thinks he's soft or that he'll do this again. Maybe it was a girlfriend that got involved that kept him around. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of guys, though, that their mom dies or their dad dies, and they play in the game the same day or the next day. You know what I mean? That's kind of what NFL executives expect. And before any of you think that that's mean or anything else, let me just explain. Most guys I know, including myself, that's what I would want to do. I would want to dedicate the game to my dad and do what Brett Favre did when his dad died. And unfortunately, he did it to us. But on Monday Night Football, Brett Favre threw like 17 touchdowns. against our Raiders. It was crazy. He was hitting highlight bomb throws and avoiding pressure and throwing, and it was crazy. He put a show on with us. Rod, I'm not down with Renfro. I don't like going backward. You know, I mean, even we know now that oh God, he was just our wide receiver, for crying out loud. So forgive me, I've just got all these names in my head. But he just was released by the Jets. And now with him released by the Jets, should we bring him back? You know, no way. Raging Raider Rhino, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Let me take just a moment because I've been bad about this because I just love entertaining Raider Nation. So I forget sometimes, but if you would, consider a subscription to Raider Bear Family Page. It's just $5 a month. You can cancel at any time, but you won't want to. When you realize the amount of things that we do with that $5, we help homeless people all over the planet. Not just in certain cities, not just in California, all over the world. And we really appreciate you. And also, YouTubers, what are we doing? I'm not entertaining you? Then get out of here if you don't like me. But otherwise, please like and subscribe. I understand, but this is his first year. Also, the new GM was at Tampa Bay. I trust him. Spy Tech is all right so far, but I'm not ready to say I trust him. Because you have to remember, he's here because of Tom Brady. Tom Brady, by being impressed with the guy, has brought him over. You see what I'm saying? Now, that's fine. Maybe maybe I should have given that to Tom as a victory. Because I said he was 0 for 2 when he went for a coach. And he went for a quarterback, and he was 0 for 2. Matthew Stafford, 0 for 2. So, the shady one can't be trusted. I'm not a fan of the shady one. Yeah, no. Vernon Moshman, X got me with talks of Jamar Chase as a possible landing spot to the Raiders. That would be nice. Vernon, welcome to the show as always, and you always keep the same profile picture, so you know I love it. But I would say this. Pete Carroll, one of the very first things out of his mouth, and I really enjoyed it, was he wants to win now. He wants to win now. He's not telling any one of the fans. He went into every press conference and he said, look, guys, I'm going to go get a quarterback because we're going to win right now. I like that. Josh McDaniels didn't say that. John Gruden didn't say that. He said, no, I'm going to get some guys together. We're going to win right now. Didn't blink, looked right into America's cameras and said, I'm going to get these dudes and we're going to win and we're going to do it right away. Whoo! And then he had someone go, Raiders! In the audience at the press conference, and it was, woo! That man right there. Marshawn Lynch, my favorite human being out of Oakland. Yeah, Mark, I don't want Aaron either. I'm not feeling that. Kim Calhoun, hi, love. Welcome to the show. I haven't seen you in a while. Your profile picture, those babies. Look at you. Miss you too, love. Mad Max is all in on Aaron Rodgers. Maybe he has a chip on his shoulder. He can be the villain and come to the dark side. Well, Joey, though, I got to say, we have heard Max Crosby make bad calls before. He has made a couple of calls. You know I love him. I know his mom and dad. I mean, we had like real formative discussions. They're very cool people. I love the Crosby family. All of them. Okay, she even has another son that's like a supermodel. And he's good looking too. So I told Vera, their mom is Vera Crosby, and I told her, I was like, man, you're a pretty awesome lady. I mean, I didn't say this to her, but in my mind I thought, man, you just spit out two badasses. That's what I wanted to say to her, but I know that would have been rude. So 3 years, $109 million, I think it was. Yeah, he deserves every penny though. Yeah, look, Kim Calhoun saying the exact same thing I said. Corinna! Hello! Appreciate the love on the stars. And as I was saying before, it helps us do a lot of good, and I really, really appreciate it. Eric Bell, Jacoby Myers is a free agent, but I don't know if he's going to leave us. Now, here's why. I think that he's playing free agency, which the team will let him do because of his contract status. But if he wants to come back, we probably would sign him because he had a good year for us with all the chaos that was going around with the quarterbacks and the play calling and the coaching staff. with all that chaos, he killed it. So I could see Pete Carroll not wanting to lose a guy that's already familiar with the roster and the locker room. And there's no reason to let him go unless you don't want to pay him. You know what I mean? There might be some argument about what he's going to make, but he probably wanted to look out into free agency just simply because it makes sense to. You guys have to remember, I love being a Raider, but if my deal was up and I had an option to look around or negotiate with the Raiders, I'm going to go look around because I have to pay my bills. I want to be a Raider here and here in my heart, but if I have to go to the Buffalo Bills to get an extra $5 million, I'm going. You know what I mean? You got to make that money for your family. You know what I mean? It's not about loyalty, because the moment you break your ankle or break your elbow or anything like that and you miss games, they'll cut you. They don't give a damn, and they'll just move right on along. You know what I mean? And you'll have to find another job. So see, to me, it's kind of a high wire act. Free agency in the NFL, you can do something that can anger your owner, and then it'll anger all the other owners because they'll see it, and now suddenly you're a pariah they don't want to draft. It's tough. You see it happen to players. It's just they do it on the under. They don't let you know. But you remember that guy, Steve? Damn, I can't think of his last name now. But that guy, his name was Steve. He played for a bunch of different teams. He was short and super buff. I think he was with the Panthers the majority of his time. And look at him. He had to retire. He looks like he could play today. But he had to retire because no one would give him a deal. And I think it's just because most people around the league just know that you can't like the guy. And he always had fights in every locker room he was in. Mariota knows Chip Kelly's system and played well in college in his system. Well, Alfred Oliva, listen, brother, I'm on board with you, but my problem is that I have to report to you the truth, what's going on there. And the truth of what's going on is the Raiders are not acting like they want AOC to stay. They're acting like if they can put him in a package, they're going to do it. And if they need to keep him for the scenario you just brought up, he's a veteran now. Why don't you let him go into his next season, start the first 5 games, and then if there's problems, if he's really bad or he's not picking up Chip Kelly's offense the way we want him to, for example, he won't take deep routes and he's only taking the safe stuff so he doesn't have interceptions and so on, then you move on from him. Because we're not here to dink and dunk. Pete Carroll wants to do what he does, run the ball, and then attack over the top. He coaches like a Raider coach. His philosophy is very similar to ours. So I'm not saying he's Al Davis or anything. I'm just saying the belief system of how to play football for him and Al is, honestly, it's the same. Carina Trujillo and Kim Calhoun. Appreciate the love on the stars, ladies. I miss you all. Lots of love. Everyone hugs your loved ones while they're here. Yeah. Had a little death on my side of the family. Train tracks recently, and so yeah. Tim Newport, when Tom Brady was a player and his semi-prime, he had some recruiting clout, but he has none now. Tim, I couldn't. Oh wow! Look at the 2 babies. You have 2 little ones. Was that twins? Oh, that's dope. Twice blessed. But Tim, I would say not only are you right, but I would endorse that and say that I actually think he's an anchor on us. I actually think he's dragging us down. I don't think that he's going to be this recruiter. I don't think he's going to increase the. It's like saying you're going to bring in O.J. Simpson to be a PR guy. Okay, no, Tom didn't kill anyone except our franchise and our dreams. To hell with him. We won by 2. Nice. Hopefully, I got it recorded. Usually, it records on my DVR. Elon Bush, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Now everybody say, Warriors! Okay, I gotta say this real quick. Elon, did you see Kendrick Perkins' net? Oh, I hate that man. Every time dogging on the Warriors, every time dogging on Curry, every chance he gets, and he does a top 5 teams in the league right now that are the hot 5 teams going into the playoffs, and we didn't even make the list. We've gone 9-1 since the All-Star break, but we're not a hot team. 9-1. Oh, I just want to slap him so hard his mama feels it. Most free agents come to the Raiders to die. Laugh out loud. Great on other teams, very average or below with us. Well, Rick, we used to have that persona of success and toughness and Super Bowls, but it's been too long. I would argue my daughter and my sons have never seen a good Raider team. I don't count the Derek Carr years. I don't. I think if we all looked back honestly and talked about what Derek Carr was, he was a backup quarterback. He was never a starter. He whined and moaned like he was a starter. He went on and on with people about how he was a starter. He talked about Jesus every single chance he could in front of the mic to try to keep everyone off of him, but he was never a real starter, in my opinion. I mean, pick the great moment that he had. He was with us for 9 years, guys. 9. Any quarterback that's been with one franchise that long usually has some highlight footage. Right? Derek doesn't have any. He hit Henry Ruggs, the whole time we had Henry Ruggs before the car accident and all that. He hit him twice on deep routes? And one of them was a Hail Mary that we otherwise would have lost to the Jets, so he had to throw it. And it just so happened it was there, and Henry Ruggs made a move, and he got the ball. But other than that, I mean, and I'm not trashing Derek Carr. I want to be clear about that. I'm not a Derek Carr troll, okay? He was good for us, you know what I mean? But he was a bridge guy, but they never built the bridge. They just kept acting like he was a starter and trying to build around him. And they should have known what they had. It usually only takes a year or two. I don't know how John Gruden came into the league and said, yeah, I'm okay with that guy. I just don't understand that. And then, you did it all. You were there. You went to the Bucks. You won a ring. You retire. You go into football for 10 years on ESPN. And then you come back to the Raiders and you can't tell that guy can't win you a Super Bowl? You know what I mean? And I've always said Gruden is way overrated. Way overrated. Go look at his win-loss record. He's got 3 wins more than he has losses. I don't know what the exact number is, but I can tell you it's 57-54. That's garbage. You might as well have 57 losses. What difference does it make? You didn't do anything. You know what I mean? You have 3 more wins than losses. 4 more, something like that. Come on, get out of here. To follow up on my question about Mayer from your last show, how much do you think his lack of production had to do with the offensive scheme? Well, honestly, I think it's in his head. I don't know. I can't give you anything because I don't have anything. I just know, when is the last time you heard about a player taking a leave of absence, the team clears it, and then the moment the season's over, they go, hey, anybody want this guy? Anybody want this guy? That's usually something you do when you don't like the player. And I mean just don't like him. It's not that they don't think he can play. I think something happened between him and the front office. It feels like something happened. And I want to go on record saying that because now in a month or 6 months, however long it takes, when we do hear, hey, he was mad at the Raiders because, they didn't realize, I'm totally making this up. But what if his woman, I don't know if he's married, if he has a girlfriend or whatever, so I'm totally making this up. I want to be very clear. Totally making it up. But what if he did something like his girlfriend lost their baby? It said she was pregnant, she had pains, she goes to the hospital and finds out she lost her baby, okay? Now, we know all women that go through that, they get upset. I mean, you only naturally would. You lost your baby. Okay, the husband, boyfriend, whatever the case may be, he's going to be there consoling her, right? Is she going to get over something like that in a couple days? Can he just leave for the weekend and come back? No. But at the same time, there's so much money in these contracts, and the teams are so right on the edge of a knife of wins and losses. And, by the way, you went for the best tight end available in Bowers, so you made him expendable. A 2 tight end offense with both of them sounds delicious, but the Raiders are not interested in that. They are interested in moving on from him and getting picks so that they can do something with them in this next draft. And I think that's solid because do we need him? I mean, we have Brock Bowers. We have that guy Bryant. He's a great blocker. When we don't use him on passing routes, he's a great blocker. And then Bowers can get open on almost any play. He's that elite, and I can't believe he's a Raider because I just sometimes I pinch myself when I see the things Bowers doing. I mean, he can run routes like a wide receiver. He can catch like a wide receiver. He has speed, not like a wide receiver, but faster than tight ends traditionally. He's got it. I hate to compare him to this guy because the guy was such a jerk, but he reminds me a lot of Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. I meant Aaron Hernandez. Gronk seems like an okay guy. They won 121 to 118 or something like that. Steph is the ultimate warrior. Tell it, Brian. I love it. Raider Bear, what's up, Jesse? Good to see you. It's his first year. Relax. I trust him. Eric Bell, I don't know if I trust him, but I should relax. You're right about that. It's year one. He may start to build clout. As he gets more interviews, as he gets more lunches, with free agents and sits down with them and learns, what they want to know. What is the city that I'd be moving my wife and kids to? What are the schools like that? There's way more to it than just football, guys. These guys move to another team in another state. Usually they're taking their significant other and a child. Now you got to figure out the daycare again and the school system again. And, it's tough. So there's a lot more that goes into it than just football. My point exactly. Darnold's an average player, but had Jefferson, a run game, and defensive and an O-line. We don't have that here right now, so spending that money, AOC could be the same. But Rick, I want to say this one more time. We are on the same page. I love AOC. I want them to keep him as the veteran. Go find your man in the draft and look for someone in free agency as well and get rid of Carter Bradley because Carter Bradley's never going to play. Okay, we need guys that can play. Okay, I like Carter Bradley, but he's never going to play. Troy Gill, that is a rumor. I don't see any scenario that we trade up unless it's to get Cam Ward, and I just don't see that happening. In fact, you're starting to hear reports that the Titans are going to go. They went quarterback last year, so they're going to go quarterback to try to get their guy. And to be honest with you, as much as that may bring up, visions of the former Raider that was the GM for the Lions, and every year he went wide receiver, which was hilarious. It's like, dude, do you hear anyone? I mean, that's like the highest bust position there is, but you go 4 years back to back wide receivers. Idiot. What's up, John LaJoy? Welcome to the show. Well said, Bear. Wise words. You go to work when an issue comes. Yes, sir. Armando Medrano. It's going well, man. I'm married to Mama Bear. Haven't you seen her? I'm doing good. Russell Wilson doesn't want to come to us, and he doesn't want to play for Pete Carroll again. So if he comes, it's only because they're going to pay him. They're going to show him the money because he is probably the most show him the money quarterback right now in the league. He just is. He knows what he is. He's a good-looking guy. He makes that hood ornament on the car, and owners like that have a handsome, strong quarterback with Super Bowl experience. And you're bringing him back to his old coach. So to people unlike myself who don't have the background stories, but to people who do have background stories, that he tried to get Pete Carroll fired. He wanted to stay in Seattle and get Pete Carroll out. And then, Pete Carroll won that war and they got rid of him. So is now Pete Carroll going to want him, even if he is available, and even if he could win with him? Is he going to be spiteful and say, hey, I'm not going to work with that guy again. He was trying to get me fired in Seattle. I got to believe that's what he's thinking. He's not going to show us that, but that's what he's thinking. Bob Standard, we do need to put the league on notice because the mystique that was the Raiders that everyone used to visit us for, we've lost that. Sup Bear, should have traded Myers and Adams last draft for a QB, but that's why Telesco lost his job. Alpha and Omega, I agree. I just don't understand why when you're a team in transition, you don't just accept you're in transition. When the Myers and the Adams and all that was going on, you have to know we're not winning. Do you see what I'm saying? We're not winning. And if we're not winning, you can't keep pivoting to all we need is a wide receiver and one left tackle and we're going to win it all. No, no, you've got to rebuild your offensive line. You got to get more help from Max Crosby. You need another good linebacker to go with the guys we've got. You got to re-sign Robert Spillane still. You got to re-sign Trayvon Merrick. You got to get another guy in case we lose the Eric Bell. Isn't that his name? I know it's Bell, but I can't remember if it's Eric because I got my Eric Bell on here. But, our safety. And yes, Lucky Pace, thank you. Steve Smith, hey, that's a new picture. Looking good, brother. You losing weight? Looking like you're getting thin, man. Ain't no way we're giving up first and a third for DK Metcalf, knowing he wants a $30 million contract. Again, can't argue with that, especially when it's his old coach. He knows what his real value is. You know what I mean? He knows the wink-wink value that some people, the coach will hide for the player because he's trying to go get a new contract. Well, not in this instance. He's not going to want him around if he's not good. And I have a feeling that DK Metcalf is a lousy route runner. Bill Cox, I would never, ever sign Joey Bosa. If he was the last good defensive end in the world, I would sign him and then cut him just to do it. I hate that guy, but more importantly, he's a bum. He talks a lot of garbage. He talks trash to people and then gets hurt and doesn't back it up. There was a couple of different times he was talking trash to us, and then we would get to the game, and he's too injured to play. That guy out of here, man. He's a bum. Alon Bush says, yeah. Kendrick Perkins he's just a clown to me. And I'm not just saying that for the Warriors. His other takes, I think, suck. I just don't like the guy at all. Would you pick up Lockett? Yes. And get the other guy from the Seahawks and then get Wilson. Not the other guy, maybe on Wilson. Yeah, I was going to say, Bill, I thought Renfro had retired because you never hear his name in free agency, so I just thought he walked away from it. But I couldn't confirm that, so I'm glad you're confirming it. Shut up, Marcus. Steven! Appreciate the love of the stars, brother. Adams was impotent. Whoa, let's... In my queue, it said impotent, like it... But what you're writing is impatient. Adams was impatient, but he also, may have had those other problems. Ah, that's nice, Tim. I love that. Prince Wilk Liam and Princess Catherine. You got a boy and a girl twins? Oh my God, I'm so jealous. That's what I wanted to do. Just have two and be done, I got my daughter, I got my son, I'm out, Wife, tube side, move it. We had a healthy Waller and Bowers together on offense, straight up unstoppable. Yeah, and, honestly, I hate what happened with Waller. I feel like Waller's one of those guys that got seduced by success, and he just didn't understand. McDummy is to blame for Renfro's career being sabotaged. He was the best route runner in the league in the slot position. Well, he did nicely that first year, and then it seemed like he started to roll back a little bit, in my opinion. So, Big Noza Bosa, no way. Correct. Mundo Armando Medrano. I'm just reading people's comments. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate all the love tonight. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. Dustin Monges, what's up? Welcome to the show. Jason Menez, I'm guessing? Or does it spell like it sells? Monges. People butcher my last name all the time. All the time. My last name is pronounced Bordelon. But they'll say Bordeline, Bordelone, Bordelus, Bordelon. Sherry Abstender, what's up, Sherry? Said Bosa's played 28 out of 51 games, and Max can't stand him. He's not coming to Vegas. Yeah, I'm already on board with that too. That's just propaganda because he's a free agent, so you can ask the question, but anyone that knows the situation knows that's not going to happen. Vernon Moshman says the Raiders want to create toughness, and our first pick will be either an O lineman or a D lineman. I agree with that. I even thought for a minute there that if they were going to make a move with Mayer to get a draft pick, that they were going to package those things and move up just under the Titans to 2 and get that defensive end from Penn State. If they get Abdul Carter, man, over. Him and Max, I'm just saying, you move up and you have a shot at Abdul Carter, you got to pull the trigger, man. I love that kid, and I'm not on board with the idea of, you got to get the running quarterback. Yeah, I like. Oh, sorry. I know my mic went out for a second there. But I'm personally, I think they're going to do exactly what you said. I just don't think it's going to be D-line. Or, excuse me, I just don't think it's going to be O-line. I think it's going to be D-line. If we do anything other than quarterback, it's probably going to be a defensive lineman. Not because we don't need O-line help, but we did the O-line thing last year. So what I'm thinking is we will do O-line, but it's probably going to be in the 3rd, 4th, and then we have 3 6s. So, I mean, you could do a lot with that. I would imagine they're going to take 1 or 2 of those 6s, and our 3rd or our 1, our 3, and a 6 to move up to 2 and give them our number 8 or whatever it was, and then we'll get our guy. I have a feeling that is what's gonna happen. Really? Did I lose you? No, I didn't lose you. I know what I was doing wrong. Wait a minute. There it is again. Hey, look, I don't need Mama Bear for everything, okay? To fix on my show, okay? All right, that's my show. Much love. Shout out to our armed forces: Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Space Force. For all you do, the energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice. Active and veteran, much love. Remember to like and subscribe. YouTubers, stop it. What? I gotta ask. Do it right now. Oh, let's go. Yeah, I could do another hour right now. Standing on my head. You doubt it? And I wouldn't talk about anything I just talked about for the first hour. I can give you all fresh information. We had 5 new signings tonight. The Kua Mwanga guy, the Tongan, I always mispronounce his name. Kana Mwanga, that guy's, badass, does whatever we ask. Special teams, practice squad, yes sir, no sir kind of guy. Brought him back. We haven't re-signed Robert Spillane yet, but we got some of our guys back. We also brought back the veteran corner, Sam Webb. Really excited about that. I'm a big Sam Webb fan. So those of you stay me right to the end of the show, you know what's up. Appreciate the love, Alpha and Omega. Shout out right back. Steven Shaw! Much love. I'll see you again tomorrow. Raider Bear family page. Peace! No. I'm not doing it.